Hello everyone, welcome and welcome back. Today we are going to work again out of this Magical Forest Stories by Maremi's Small Art, and this is by Marta Lepkowska. We're working out of this book again. We did a previous video with elements from this book. If you haven't seen it, it's called Forest Shine. Now, what we're going to do today is we're taking this beautiful magic forest and we're bringing it to the magic cosmos. And I'm going to show you how we're going to do it. So sit back, relax, and let's begin to build. So I'm going to lay some pieces down. This background is not from Marta's book. And I've already pre-cut some elements. So I'm just seeing exactly what I want to affect, because in these elements we're going to be embedding fairies, houses, foliage, little bit of a brick wall. We're going to do a little bit of everything, and I'm going to show you how we can embed different characters, different creatures into these pages right here. So it makes for a whole lot of fun. So I'm going to start by getting, let's see, I'm going to get this one down first because it is the main background. So I'll start with that. Now I left this piece on because I wanted to show you something. Okay, now I pre-cut some of this, and let me get some of my beautiful images. Okay. Now, I was going to tuck this piece into this piece, but I decided I did not want all this beauty behind this piece. So that's why I'm doing it this way. And I'm removing part of this, not only so you can see part of the background, but also too, so we can get this little beauty on there. Now what I have to decide is I want her laying across the top of this piece. And I may not end up using that. Now, I want to decide if I want her legs kind of like this star right next to her face. So I think that's where I'm going to go with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this line here to cut all this away, because I need a little extra length for her beautiful legs to rest on, so it becomes believable. If I was to remove this, her legs would be sticking out in midair, and I don't like that. So I'm going to decide to cut it right, to cut this line right here. I'll put that in my scrap pile. But I'm going to add this to that and then cut this away. I'm going to clean that up a bit. Okay, so I'm going to lay this down like this. I'm going to go ahead and glue this piece down, and even though I pre-cut it, it will lay back down once I glue it, and so you won't be able to tell that I already pre-cut it for another reason. I had another plan, and it wasn't as cool as the one I came up with next, so I abandoned it. So I'm going to take this little piece because I want to extend it out for her legs. And I'm going to glue that back onto there. And it's right where a line from one of the lights is dangling down. So that line that I cut actually is an actual line. So by placing it back together, it reestablishes that light. Okay, so now we're gonna put this beauty on here. And I like that she's somewhat on this piece as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue her down. So she's affixed, and then we'll start working with the other pieces. Get her wings straight. Okay. I'm saving this little beauty for last, because she's gonna take some finagling, because I'm going to put her to sleep in a very specific spot. And you guys can tell me if I've gotten away with it or not. The fussy cutting of all these individual petals was so painstaking, but it's worth it because the result is just magical if you can get it to work. We've got this little beauty right here. Some of these pieces that are coming off of the main piece are so delicate that I have to be careful. Okay, now this little house we are going to embed inside this portal. And I've already cut it so that this will slip in. But I'm seeing a little bit of white right along here. So what I'm going to do, since I didn't fussy cut it exactly, I'm gonna take, and this color is the Distressed Oxide called Peeled Paint. And I'm just gonna run it along the edge and make it green. I'm going to do up here too. Get rid of those white lines. So you can take any of your colors. I could even take the Victorian Velvet Pink and go along the edges of these girls, but it's not needed. But that's how you can get rid of some of your white areas. See, now it's not so white. It's green. It's tamed it down. You can get rid of some of your white areas by using your distressed inks of that color, or black, or even vintage photo, depending on the color scheme. Of the subject matter. Okay, I just have to decide how much of the bottom of that house I want to show. And by embedding it inside that slit, it gets it behind these leaves so that it looks like it's actually inside that little portal. And it's back behind this girl too. These little pieces down. So that's how you can get something inside the portal. Make sure you put it, whether it be a fairy, a character, an animal, put it behind some of the foliage. So what I did was I cut out around the foliage so that it would nestle itself inside, and it looks like it's actually in the portal. Now this little beauty right here, I'm gonna put her to sleep, but I'm going to put her to sleep on the moon. Yep. I've already pre-cut this little bubble so that I can fit her right where the moon is. So she's asleep on the crescent moon, but she's behind this bubble, this hanging bubble. But what I want to do is I want to decide how far on this crescent moon she's actually going to be. And I think that is the place for her. Okay, so let's get her on there. So this is how you can put images onto other images and make it look like they're actually on it. See, so the crescent moon goes right back here. So it looks like she's laying on it with her pillow. And I'm gonna get this part down. So cut away part of the subject matter to tuck your images in. And that's how you can get away with it. So I'm gonna do a little housekeeping here. Get some of these stray edges down. And then what I wanna do is This is a dark gray, this chain that's holding this bauble. So because this bauble is in front of her, I don't want this chain to be behind her wings. So what I have to do is I have to extend this chain all the way through to the bottom and connect to this bauble. So I'm going to do that with this gray. And I've already swatched this gray another time. And let me see if I have a scrap that's white. And I'm gonna go very light. So I'm gonna extend this chain all the way through to meet the top of this where it actually is. See, because I put her on top. So if you wanted to get her behind the bauble, you could cut on either side of that tiny thread of a chain. That's very difficult. And then you can slip her wings behind and the chain would be in front. But that's a difficult thing to do. So we're gonna just kind of fudge it. We're gonna bring that chain all the way through. And we're gonna connect it down to where it wants to be connected. And now, this little beauty is between this bauble and this hanging light here. So the one hanging light is behind her. This one is now in front of her. So she's in between the two, sleeping on the moon. So that's how you can get away with manipulating images and making them look like they're behind something when they're really not. So we just extended this chain all the way down to meet that bubble. So she looks like she's sleeping and balancing between the two. Okay. Now I've got another thing that I want to do, but I'm not quite sure how. I'm not wanting to use that one. I'm wanting to use my favorite. This is my favorite brush. I was gonna use this water brush, but it's so thick that it won't be good for this project. I want something that is tiny and has a straight edge. And this is just water. Now I want to decide I'm wanting to do this color right here. So I'm gonna put just a drop of water and get it going. This is watercolor. I paid $2 for it on Temu, and it has been one of my best purchases because it is so beautiful. These are shimmering, they're real shimmery, shiny colors. Now I don't want, I like that it's beading up. And then it's dissipating. I don't want a lot, just a little bit. And I like that it's not just solid, that it's coming off in streaks. And the paper is just taking what it wants. This is just to add a little extra shine in little areas, not a whole lot. Just whispers of shine. I could add some more water, but I don't want to. I'm just kind of meshing it around. I'm gonna just add a dab. Don't want a full drop. I'm gonna bring it up onto this paper. Just a little bit. That is enough, I believe. Now, I put more gold down here because it looks like her face, she's bringing her face up to absorb the light, almost like you would do in sunshine. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen, cosmic magical forest. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have enjoyed your time here and all the little fun things we added. This is so much fun for me, so I hope you've enjoyed it. And I wish you a good rest of your week, wherever you are in the world. And I will see you on the next one.